Live with me, Joe. These are bite-sized ideas that you can add into your crafting toolkit. So they are quick little things that will change the way that you craft, hopefully. So today, what we're going to be playing with is the Emboss Resist technique. Get that out properly. And I want to show you a few tips and tricks for it and some of the things that I found that work really, really well and some of the things that maybe don't work really well. So we're going to get started right away, and remember the project reveal is always at the end. So stick around until the end, and as you come on, before I turn it down to my desk, let me know where you're watching from. Send a comment our way and I'll try and answer as I'm going through it, and if not, I'll certainly answer after the live. So I'm going to get you going here. I'm going to turn you off for just a little bit, and then we are going to get down to the desktop. See you in a bit. Turn you off first. Okay, there we go. I always have to stand on my little stool here, so that's why I don't want you to really see my ceiling. I think that's not so much fun. Okay, let's turn that on, turn it around, make it a little bit closer. Now, I want to start by saying today we've got a giveaway. So I have these 3 cards that I would love to give away, and I will give away. And anybody who comments, so comment on this live by tomorrow at noon, which is Thursday, November 20th at noon, and your name will go into a draw, and I'll randomly draw and I'll announce it on next week's Ink Paper Play Live. Okay, get my stool out of the way. So these are Christmas cards that I've done in the past, a couple really fun folds, and then a super sparkly one that's done with some embossing, some vellum, and just my favorite, those Christmas lights. So put in a comment, put in a question, let me know where you're watching from, let me know if you're gonna try this technique. So what do we need for our technique? Oh, there's something I have to tell you. Look at this. Here's another something I have to tell you. Hello, Marilyn. Thank you for coming to watch. For the first time ever, Stampin' Up! Is going to be doing a Black Friday sale, and it starts November 25th. So if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure that that's next Tuesday, and it goes through to December 1st. So you want to keep your eyes open for that. Demonstrators, we do not yet know what the select products are going to be, but I want you to know about it so that you can mark your calendars for November 25th. As soon as we know more, I'll share it with you. Okay, so what do you need for Emboss Resist? So if you don't have a handy dandy little glass mat like this, you want some scrap paper for sure. And then you are going to need your Versamark and your embossing buddy, and you're going to need some embossing powder, which I put away. But I've already embossed what we're going to do today. So you need to have an embossed image. And we usually like white embossing powder. I'm going to show you a couple other ideas too. So I have embossed on here already one of the large snowflakes, and it's embossed with white powder. It's a little hard to see. I'm hoping that you can see that in the shine. And this one is made with the Delicate Pines stamp set, which also has some dies that go along with it. And I just love these. We used them last week as well. And if you missed that live, that Ink Paper Play live, you can catch that in the live section of my YouTube studio. Okay, what else do you need? You need some blending brushes. So I love blending brushes for this technique, and they're probably what I would recommend, although I'm going to show you another tip at the end. And in whatever colors, you're going to pick whatever colors you like. So I have 3 colors here. 2 colors, you can do this with 1 color, of course, but we're going to do some blending. So I have Pool Party, I have Coastal Cabana, and then I also have Pretty Peacock. And I just want to make sure I'm in the screen, and I think I am. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to start with our lightest. Okay, now I'm going to do this in reverse of the design that I have already done that I want to share with you later. In reverse as opposed to where the colors are is what I mean, so that you can see it in 2 ways. So what I normally do Not normally. This is what I always do. You're going to pick up your ink. You're going to tap this right on top of your stamp pad. You want to make sure you have good inking on your stamp pad. So if they're too dry, you're going to have to do this a lot and your arm's going to get sore. So you want to tap on here and you want to tap off, okay? That's the really important part for me, because when you tap off, you're going to get a little bit of a blob. You don't want blobs onto your cardstock, so take the blob off here. And then what you also want to do is just give it a little test drive here before you start. Now you could go off the paper and on, but we really want to highlight this image right here. So I'm going to start by doing the inside of the image. Okay, so just, and light. So light, you don't have a grip on here. Another tip that you could do if you're a really hard-handed person, and I sometimes am, is hold something in your other hand. If you have an eraser, if you have a pencil, I'm just going to do this for now. It's a calligraphy trick that I learned a long time ago, and it just seems to relax you. So if you need to do that, hold it so that you're not really gripping this really hard. And you're going to start by just lightly putting in a little bit of color all the way around. Now, if you had not done this, you would have a big blob right in the center right now. And that's usually what people say is that, oh, I don't like it because I've got a blob. Well, this is how you can avoid it. And I'm just going really lightly. So you can see that that color is not going down super fast, right? It's going down slowly. And that's okay, because that's what we want. So we've got some pool party down there now. Now I'm going to go into my Coastal Cabana, exact same technique. So you're going to pick it up, you're going to tap it off wherever is comfy for you, tap it off, give it a little try, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to come a little closer in this time. So I want to leave that lightest on the outside edges. And you're just going to lightly, again, lightly as possible, you're going to build up your color here so that it blends, just so that you have a wonderful little glow. Now it looks very similar because this color really is a very complementary color for pool party. So I'm just going to go in here, and also make sure you put in a comment. Do you need a question? Do you need me to clarify something? So I'm just going around and around. So circular motions, that's another tip for you. Circular is going to give you the best results. It's going to give you the most beautifully blended. So that's a little darker. And now I'm going to go in with my pretty peacock. Same thing. I'm going to tap it off. Now you want to be really careful with your darkest color, because you are really going to get a blob if you don't. Yeah, you are a gripper, are you, Maggie? Though that's a way that you can stop doing it. And it really does work. I don't know, something psychological in our brain, but it works. So here I am going to put my darkest color in the middle, which is my peacock. Now you may think, well, why did I bother putting the Coastal Cabana in there? Because it's still going to be right around the edges. Okay, so there is our color. Now I might want to come back in and do just a little bit of my pool party around the outside here. Might just need to darken it up. Now, you might think, okay, well, yeah, that's okay, but there's not much magic there. Well, the most important thing that you can do when you are doing this technique is the next step. So please do not forget to do this step for a couple of reasons. But number one is that it's not going to be as beautiful and poppy if you don't. So you need to take something soft, either a Kleenex, or if you have one of these Microsoft guys, which I am going to use, and you're lightly going to buff it. And when you do, that image is just going to pop right out of there. Okay, so you can really see how that white just pops right up. So what if you've done this before and it hasn't worked? If it hasn't worked, what you want to do is maybe try and go in and actually blend in your color just a little bit more. If you've used clear embossing powder, so here's one that I've done with clear embossing powder, and I haven't done the reveal yet, so I haven't used my Kleenex or my wipe, And so I'm just going to do this. Now, you don't want to, I just said wipe. You don't want to use a wipe. That is definitely a no-no because that's just going to water and mess up your ink. Okay, that's really not a good idea. So what I like a lot better is the white than the clear. And so if it hasn't worked real well for you, now these are not detailed embossing powders, but they just look quite different, I think, the white versus the clear. So I tend to always use the clear. Now this one is a little bit darker, so that looks a little different, but you can try the white and see if you like it. Now, it doesn't always work on every embossed color. So I did this one as well with the friendly foliage with silver. And this is on watercolor paper, so you can really see the nice texture in behind. But I found that it dulled the silver, and even though I did wipe it a couple times already, the silver, the bright silver, just doesn't seem to come up as well. So I don't know if you can tell that through the light. I'm hoping that you can. So a few tips. Now, one other thing you can use. You can use sponge daubers. You don't want to use sponge daubers if they look like this on top. Can you see how that one is really, this one's too dry. So these, if you've had them in your drawer and haven't used them, and you've had them in your drawer maybe for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, I would suggest that you might want to get some new ones. I'm hoping that you can really, it's hard to see because this is such a dark one, but it is really quite ruined up here. It's really rough. This is a newer one, and I'm hoping that you can see the difference. So you can use these. So I'm going to pull back in. Let's do it with the clear one. Pull back in the Pretty Peacock. Okay, so you want a similar technique. Dab it off, and then very lightly stick it in there. Now, if you were trying to get some detailed, really, I'm trying to get it in exactly one place, these are not your best friend because they are big, okay? People also have a tendency to press a little harder with these, and you might be more inclined to end up with that blob in the middle. But you can use them if you don't have any blending brushes. And exactly the same technique, just make sure that you always clean it off. So, how about the reveal? Okay, now before the reveal, I just want to remind everybody about putting a comment in, and I will give away those cards. I'll announce it in next week's live. It can be on the replay, doesn't have to be on a live right now. Okay, so Marilyn, yes, you agree that white works better. So here's our card. Okay, so this one here, I said that I did it in reverse. So what I meant was here I did my lightest color in the middle and moved out to my darkest color. Here I did it the reverse. I had my darkest color in the middle and had the lighter color on the edges. So you can decide which one of those appeals to you the most. And I use the exact same colors. Okay, so we have Pool Party, we had Coastal Cabana, and Pretty Peacock. Then I'll leave that one there for now. Then I want to show you, this is one that I did do with the sponge dauber. Okay, so I had a sponge dauber in order to put on our Azure Afternoon. Now you can see where, because the sponge dauber is larger, that it actually went outside my flower. I was okay because I hadn't done a huge bit of detail, not detail, that's not what I want to say, because I hadn't pushed it down too quick and I didn't have a blob, I was able to sort of blend that out, but I did think I would have liked a little bit more preciseness. I was going to say precisity, but there's not such a word. Preciseness here. And then I want to show you what happens with black, because with black, it really popped. Now the black is really ultra shiny, and so it continued to keep its shine after I did the technique. This is also on watercolor paper, and I added a little bit of Wink of Stella in the wings right here. So those are our 3 designs. I hope you enjoy those. Be sure to give it a try. Take some of those tips, try them at home, and use your heat embossing. It's not about the heat embossing, it's about the blending. So give them a try and pop your own designs into the comments and let me know how that worked for you. We'll see you next week on Ink Paper Play Live. I forgot what I was going to say. And I hope you have a great week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.